So the affirmative claims that the people of the Middle East and Egypt don't want our help, but it's sort of a humanitarian issue. Just because they don't want our help doesn't mean they don't need it, doesn't mean we shouldn't supply it. Also, she said that the president reduced aid to Middle Eastern countries and Egypt in recent years. That was part of a law that's in the U.S. law that states that when a country enters a coup or sort of revolution, that we are required to reduce our aid to the country. And like during Egypt's revolution and the Arab Spring, that's why the sort of funds were taken away. Also, that she states that we are not entirely dependent on the oil that comes from Middle East, but that doesn't mean our allies aren't, and that's a reason to keep our aid there, our forces there, so that way our allies, if not necessarily we don't need it, that our allies can have free trade and free access to people in the area. The affirmative also stated that Israel gets the most aid in the Middle East, and that if they have such a high GDP, why do they need our help? Israel actually only gets half of the aid that actually goes to Israel is economic, and the other half would be military, and that's why they are able to defend themselves so well. They might not necessarily need the money, but we should still supply aid in that area. They also state that Afghanistan may not be able to recover or sort of get out of their terrorist state or something. But the risk that we take by reducing foreign aid to that area pretty much assures that they won't recover. Countries can't recover if they don't have help. It's a country that's run by terrorism and terrorist organizations. They don't stand much, if any chance at all, of really recovering and being a prosperous nation and building strong governments if they're run by corrupt terrorist organizations. So we shouldn't, just because they might not recover, isn't a very good reason to reduce aid in that area. Also, the affirmative said that that during I think the Egyptian revolution over the overthrow of the current president that was in, she said people were burning flags and showing anti-American resentment. The revolution should sort of be viewed as a good thing, because if you think about it, revolution means people are unhappy and they're using their voices. They're speaking it, not our voices, and they're taking whatever measures to fix the government, because they don't feel the government is right. They don't feel it's not the way they want it. So the people are using what they have to remove the government they don't want. Isn't that what democracy is? And that should be sort of viewed as a good thing, because they're getting rid of the tyrannical leader they don't want and sort of starting a new government. And also, the affirmative states that it's not in our best interest to provide aid. Providing aid gives us national security, it gives us commercial interest, and it's also a humanitarian reason, and those are really strong reasons to give aid to a country. Thank you.